Welcome back. Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has announced a budget of nearly $155 billion aimed at securing Singapore's future in a time of profound global change. The initiatives covering the economy, AI developments, and families. And for more insights, I'm joined by two guests from the banking sector. Head of Research at UOB, Suan Teck, as well as Senior Economist at DBS Group Research, Chua Han Teng. Gentlemen, great to have you with us.
Good evening.
Pleasure.
Now, Teck, I want to start with you. You know, before the budget, a lot of businesses were hoping for some help with rising rent and also manpower costs. Do you think that they were getting the support they were looking for with this budget?
Well, to a certain extent, that's the case, Angela. With the corporate tax rebate, there's actually it will help in terms of the cost to a certain extent. So that will be one area of helping businesses, although the amount and the rates is actually lower than the previous budget, right? So, but I think to the government, the way the budget is positioned, it has a much bigger purpose from other help. For example, AI, which we will talk about that later. I think that's where the big picture is to the way I look at it.
Yeah, Han Teng, we want to bring up that 40% corporate income tax rebate. It sounds quite generous, but why this much? And do you think it will actually provide relief when it comes to these concerns that the firms have?
I think certainly the corporate income tax rebate was an extension that was what was seen last year. And certainly, I think with economic resilience, that might be tested this year. This certainly would help businesses' cash flows. But like what Teck said, I think the bigger narrative is about how to provide the strategic and forward-looking direction for Singapore's economy over the next decade. I think really this budget tried to tackle some of these issues that was being brought up in the recommendations of the economic strategy review midterm update. And I think AI is certainly one of them that's of strong interest.
Yeah, let's get right to AI then. There's a very strong push in AI as expected in this budget. How far do you think it will really go when it comes to sharpening Singapore's competitive edge?
You know, I think Singapore is already ranking quite well in terms of AI readiness and in terms of global rankings. And I think in today's budget, what we have seen is that there's a really coordinated push to help push this AI agenda, whether it's from the AI National Council, the AI Park located in One North, that would provide specialized research into such solutions, as well as the broader adoption for SMEs. For example, the Productivity Solutions Grant. These are all areas that would help the AI ecosystem become more vibrant.
Yeah, Teck, I want to talk to you a bit more about the implementation aspect. We had an MP that said, yeah, this is a good move, but when it comes to implementation, that's where the real challenge is. Do you think that businesses and everyday Singaporeans are actually ready for all these sweeping changes that are about to happen?
Right. I think, yes, it is correct. I mean, the implementation is a key. And that's the reason why I think this National AI Council is being set up with Prime Minister as a chairman driving it. Make sure that things get done in a way, implemented at the company level and also at the personal level. So this is something that we have to really get on board. It is at the very start, at the dawn of the AI age. And if you fall behind, whether at the company level, at the individual level, that would really make us lose our advantage, that what the Han Teng mentioned just now. So it's important that companies able to adopt solutions through AI or digitalization or even robotics, automation, and all the whole package in order for us to really get ahead of competition. So that's something that we need to really get on board with the AI strategy.
Yeah, and to get ahead of that competition, Han Teng, the Market Readiness Assistance Grant, that's about to be enhanced. There'll also be higher tax deductions for internationalization. Right. Is this enough to nudge more Singapore firms to venture overseas, you think?
I think Singapore have quite a limited domestic market, and certainly increased risk-taking through internationalization will help businesses diversify their revenue streams and build resilient supply chains. And I think we have one interesting finding from our recent DBS Business Pulse Check survey. In fact, 8 in 10 businesses are interested to expand into new markets this year. And I think these enhancements to the market readiness assistance grants would push businesses, providing them the incentives that will help them, expand overseas into new markets, exploring new products, and this would certainly help business resilience.
Yeah, so before we go, Han Teng, we also want to know, especially in this current geopolitical climate, do you think that it's enough for companies to be convinced, especially to expand into areas like PM Wong was saying, new frontiers like Latin America, Africa, and the Middle East? Are we ready for that?
I think it's a combination of measures that are being put in place to encourage companies to go into some of these more interesting frontier markets that you mentioned. It's a suite of measures, whether it's from the market readiness assistance grants, or I think our trade associations helping business missions, helping businesses build their network in those, perhaps more difficult countries in terms of regulation. I think these are all concerted efforts that would, put businesses at a better ease of trying to explore these new markets.
Yeah. Now, Teck, before we go, do you see that there are any companies in certain sectors that you think are better placed to expand abroad right now?
Right. I think for companies that are obviously export-oriented, that will be better positioned to do that. And for that to happen, actually, many companies that are in Singapore, you have to rely on overseas market. And there's some market readiness for overseas push. At this juncture, we cannot just rely on the traditional markets. That's the reason why those other markets were mentioned during Prime Minister's speech today. So that is there's something that the companies themselves will have to go and explore. The government is putting the cost control, the measures to help, and the diplomatic efforts and all that. And the rest, the other part, is for the companies to move forward, to go and explore new and non-traditional markets.
Teck, Han Teng, thank you so much for your insights today. I've been chatting with Suan, who is head of research at UOB, and Chua Han Teng, senior economist at DBS Group Research.